What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Pathway to Purpose podcast. You're about to listen to an amazing conversation. And I know that I say that about every podcast that you watch and that you listen to, but this one is special to me because it is my aunt, Bernadette. She is the author of an amazing book called Healed in 30 Days. And this book is not only a book that you read, but it's a book that you interact with and you go through and you can write in it as you go, write your journey, write different things that you learn about yourself, that you learn from different scriptures to help you get healed in 30 days. Like always, share this with somebody who you believe needs to hear it. This is a great conversation about some life lessons and how to navigate through life, and I hope that you enjoy. So this is actually my first podcast outdoors.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I have not done one outside, and it's really nice. It feels good out here.
Yes, it's awesome. I love being outside, so this is probably one of my favorite places. Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you prefer being inside or outside.
During this time of the year, I prefer being outside.
You don't like being cold?
I don't like being cold, and I don't like being hot. So
The nice little mixture of the both.
Yes.
I'm not a big outside person.
No, I like being outside as long as the weather is nice. You know, I love the sun, so I like getting out, being able to go out in the sun, enjoy the sun. But if it's super hot, no. I want to look out the window at the sun.
And be like, oh, that looks nice. That looks really nice outside.
Sun, yes.
People out there playing and stuff. That's nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, can you tell us about a time that you say yes to God?
So many times, but I will share probably one of my latest times with that.
Awesome.
I think the biggest time, and we're going to deal with this later, is when I wrote this book, Healed in 30 Days. I was not planning to write that book initially. I was in the process of writing another book and stopped. My sister and I had a conversation, and I stopped and said, okay, you know what? I'll go ahead and finish this Healed in 30 Days. And the yes became to finish the book. You know how we start things and we lay it down. And I've had several books, several ideas I'll start and don't complete it. Yeah. So my yes was when God said, go ahead and get it completed. And that there were so many things tied to me completing the book. Financial blessings were tied to it. Meeting other people, other opportunities were tied to it. So by me saying that yes, it opened so many other doors.
Wow. Yeah. So do you feel like that finishing this book catapulted the next one that you were already writing, or
not really, because it didn't affect that book. I'm still working on that book. Okay. But what it did was open other opportunities, other ideas. Healed in 30 days. So in the process of healing, again, my sister passed within a week of her encouraging me to write the book. So to finish to choose this book to finish. So I finished that book and she passed in a week. And this book helped me to deal with her passing. Wow. And it has also helped me to deal with healing in so many other areas. And one of the biggest things I think that's coming up is, as we all know, the war that's going on in Ukraine. And so my new yes is, as today, is to start a prayer group to go on a 40-day fast and really have Ukraine at the top of that, to really pray for Ukraine, the families, and the just everyone in there. It's affecting so many people. It doesn't just affect Ukraine. It doesn't just affect Russia. It affects the United States. It affects the whole world, because, when we're watching it, we have emotional ties.
That's right.
We now begin to deal with loss. And so as people are losing their family, we can relate. I can relate to them losing their family members. I can't relate in the sense of war, but I can relate in the sense of loss and losing a family member. And so we're going to be taking Healed in 30 Days and fasting and praying for them. And also, I think what's going to happen in that process, we're going to find an inner us that needs to be healed as well. So this states Healed in 30 Days, but we're going to walk it out a little bit longer and use this book during that whole 40 days.
I love how being obedient to helping other people can also help you. I had someone on the podcast last time, and they spoke about joy, and true joy was just as it's spelled, Jesus first, then others, and then you.
Oh, I like that.
I had never heard that before, and it was so beautiful.
I love that idea. I'm going to steal that. So whoever it was, I'm going to steal that.
Hey, Lee and Joe Nelly. But that is so beautiful, because we can get selfish, right?
Absolutely.
And just focus on ourselves, and in doing something so amazing. Because And just touching on prayer, right? Because prayer, we sometimes feel like, oh, that's the least that I can do.
Yeah. Well, and it's actually the most important thing that we can do, especially as Christians. It's our number one tool.
Come on.
We have the power of prayer that we can pray. Yes, I would love to be able to grab some of the Ukrainians, come stay at my home. Or, we would love to be able to provide food and provide shelter. But right now, we're not in a position to provide those things. We have no idea where would you send food, and where do you send blankets, and where do you send cover, because they're all over the place. But the one thing that I can use, and that I'm encouraging people to use, is use your number one tool. And your number one tool is prayer. And let's add something to it. Let's make it really, really effective by adding fasting to it as well.
Yes.
So we're going to be praying and we're going to be fasting, because that is what I can do. And I remember reading this book, and it's called Do What You Have the Power to Do. And the power that I have right now is that I can pray and I can fast, and that's going to affect whoever around the whole world. I don't have to know your name. I don't have to have ever met you, but the power of prayer affects everything.
If there's somebody out there that doesn't know exactly what fasting is, can you explain that to us?
There are so many ways that you can fast. Fast is simply just doing without. You're going through a phase where you're doing without. Some people fast food. Some people fast social media. So many things that you can fast, but we're going to be actually fasting food. We're going to do what is called alternate day fasting. So what that means for us is we're going to eat one day, and then the next day we're not going to eat at all. So you want to eat we call it the feeding day. On your feeding day, you want to eat enough good calories, healthy calories, and take that in so that you can sustain the next day. So it's going to be a fasting day where you don't eat anything. You can drink water. Some people don't drink water, but I encourage you, to drink water if you need to. And it's nothing to be afraid of. I was talking to a lady on yesterday, and she was like, I've never fasted before. I'm afraid to fast, because it is, I would tell you, if you're really that concerned, definitely talk to your doctor. And everyone can't go cold turkey. So if you can't go cold turkey and just completely do without food the next day, fast to 10 a.m. When you wake up, since fast to 12 p.m., fast to 1 p.m., fast to 2 p.m., but do something. We're asking, well, what can I do? This is something that you can do. Maybe you can't fast 24 hours, but you can fast for 4 hours. You can fast for 3 hours. If you're ill or you're taking medication, speak with your doctor. They can tell you different things that you can do. Maybe you can eat a cracker or something and still sustain so that you can take your medication. We certainly don't want anyone to, get ill or cause any type of medical anything. As we say, we're not a medical profession.
That's right.
We're just Christians talking about how we fast and what we're doing in this type of fast. But again, they can come on this 40-day journey with us, and you can select your fasting. Maybe they don't want to fast that full day, but they want to fast from social media, or they want to fast from talking too much. So there are things that we need to fast from. Sometimes we talk too much. Sometimes we're not listening clearly. God is trying to tell us something. And this is what our fast is. I want to hear you clearly. So I'm going to fast from talking so much. I'm going to fast from always having an opinion. So fasting helps us. It just doesn't help other people. Fasting helps us. It helps us to become clear in what God is telling us that we need to deal with. Because, sometimes we need to deal with us. And as we're getting closer relationship with God during our prayer time and during our fasting time, He makes it clear, this is what you need to work on, and this is what's going on with you. And again, we're going to be using this book, Healed in 30 Days, and you can write some stuff in there and just help you journey through this. I
think that's what I love most about the book, is that I'm able to stay interactive while I'm reading it. And it was really impactful for me, because when I started out, I didn't know what I was going to focus on. And I ended up learning something about myself that I didn't know, is that I didn't like myself. That was such a big thing. And I'm like, oh, well, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to write, I realize I don't like myself, and I want to get through that.
And that's normal. I want you to think, don't think that's abnormal. There are certain things that people don't like about themselves, or things have happened to them, and they say, well, I don't like myself for this reason. I would allow this to happen. Okay, if something happened to you, even if you allowed it, and as a child, a lot of times you didn't allow it. If an adult did something to you, or if even in the workplace, I allowed this to happen to me. But don't let that become who you are. You can say, I don't like the fact that I'm super shy. I used to be extremely, extremely shy. I have my moments. And I didn't like that about myself. I didn't like the fact that I was just so timid and I was so super shy. But fasting and praying gave me the ability to clear that up, because what I realized that my talking was my livelihood. God was trying to get me to the place like, your money is in your mouth and your money is in your writing. And if I didn't do it, I wasn't going to prosper. Yes, I prospered financially some, but when I got into position where I was really in God's will, then all the doors opened up, because it was true. The one thing that the enemy was fighting me with was being shy and not loving to talk and not being open. And that's what I needed to do, because that opened so many doors. It blessed me so much financially. When I wrote this book, my girlfriends got on board. They helped me get the word out. I wrote a planner, didn't know what I was doing about a year ago. And sold about 500 planners. And it wasn't even the best planner, but I tried. And that's what I tell people. God will work with what you're trying to do if you're willing to try. But if you do nothing, then he has nothing to work with. So at least try and do something. He can work with whatever you're willing to do. But if you do absolutely nothing, you've already failed.
How do we, is that the most practical way, or is there another practical way to get started in that? Because we can look at what God wants us to do, and we even know what to do and just don't do it. Like, is it just having the right people around you, or what else can you do?
For me, I remember years ago, I would plan stuff. I would plan you to death. I'm talking about, I would have it down to the minute, to the hour.
On time.
And I realized I was using that as an excuse.
Wow.
So I would say, well, let me plan it. Let me get it organized. And one day I realized, you know what? I'm not moving. I'm not doing anything. It looks good on paper, but really I hadn't accomplished anything. I'd written it down. I made it pretty. I didn't color code. I've got it posted. I got it everything. And it looks really pretty, but I was doing absolutely nothing. I hadn't made a phone call. I hadn't made an appointment. I hadn't gone to an appointment. I hadn't did anything, but it looked really good on paper. And so in 2021, and even in 2022, God gave me something different. He was like, don't write it anymore. Don't, because we love to quote that scripture, write it and make it plain, and that's all we're doing. We're just quoting the scripture, write it and make it plain. Okay, stop writing. And it's very plain. Now put something into action. Yeah. So this year, I didn't write anything down to make plans. I took the things that I already written. I took the plans I already had, and I began to move and put them into action. So for my answer for this year, and moving forward is move, do something. Don't just write it. And if you're going to write 2 things or 4 things, no more than 4 things, and do those 4 things. Because if you got a laundry list of 20 things that need to be done, guess how many because it looks overwhelming. You look at it and it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to get that. It's overwhelming. But allow and assign yourself 2 things to do. I know the day before the 2 things that I'm going to get up and do. And it's something simple. I have 2 bedrooms upstairs that needs to be cleaned and the floor needs to be vacuumed. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on these 2 bedrooms. I chose a day and said, I'm going to focus on these 2 bedrooms. And that's all I focused on for that day. I didn't get off track, because sometimes we go, how we go when we start doing stuff and we get off track, especially women, it might be a girl's
I just about to do it too.
I go in the room and it's like, I'm supposed to organize this room. And then I saw a piece of paper on the floor. It's like, oh, I'm going to shred today. No, I'm not sure. That's not my shred day. I'm just organizing the room day. And I think that's what we have to do is we bring our mind back into focus, and fasting and praying does it. It brings things back into focus for you and helps you have that clarity. And that's what I want the next 40 days to be, is to bring me back to focus on what I really need to do. I really need to pray. That's who I am. Yes, I'm a business owner. Yes, I'm a consultant, and I can do all these other things. But at the end of the day, I'm a Christian required to focus on what's going on in the world and pray about it. That is what I can do. And that is what I have the power to do right now. That
is so good, because we can get caught up in our identity.
Exactly.
In our job or in our role in a house.
Yes.
And like when I was a trooper, I did 12-hour shifts, and 12 hours is so long.
It's so long.
Your day is over. You want to go home, go to sleep, and then do it right back again.
Do it all over
and my identity was, I'm a trooper.
I'm a trooper. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that about the 12-hour shifts, because I woke up this morning And that was one of the things I wanted to talk about when we did this podcast or when we did the video is, really think, have you done the same thing for the last 2 weeks every single day? Have you done the exact same thing, but you're expecting some different results? It's not going to happen.
What? Say that again.
If you're waking up doing the exact same thing and expecting some different results, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's impossible to happen because you're not doing anything different. You're doing the exact same thing. If you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you take a shower, you have a cup of coffee, you have breakfast, you eat lunch, and then you sit down and you watch TV and say, well, I just wish something would just happen. I just wish, this business idea would kick off. I wish, I just wish my business would grow. And now it's 7 o'clock and it's time to eat dinner and take a shower and go back to bed. And you got up. And so for the last 14 days, have you been doing the exact same thing? Because I promise you, if you have, you get the exact same results. And the same thing for those that work 9 to 5 jobs. Now I want to do something different. I'm tired of working this job, but you get up every morning, you go to work, you get off, you have lunch, you talk to the same friends. If you're not doing anything, who did you call different?
Yeah.
Did you work on your resume? Did you send that out? Did you call someone on the job that you actually want to do? If you're not doing anything different, you're not going to get anything different. So if you won't change, make change.
That's good. We were talking earlier in our Bible study about when God is taking you into a new territory, because just taking that deeper, you can't do the same thing that you did 5 years ago.
Absolutely not do it. No. Sometimes you can't do what you did yesterday.
Sometimes yesterday is completely different.
Sometimes yesterday, each day you get up with a new mindset, and that's exactly where I am. I'm glad you said that. Is now I get up without a plan. And when I say I get up without a plan, I wake up with, okay, God, what do you want me to do today? My plan was, I was going to work on those 2 bedrooms. But I first want to know, is that still your plan for me today? That was my plan when I went to bed last night. Yeah. But between last night and this morning, is there something else I need to do? Because if he has something else I need to do, then that's the plan. It's not the bedroom. It's
very important to mention that God works like that.
Exactly.
Because people think, you want to put God in a box, but he's not conformed to this world that we live in. No. And our plan can just be debunked, because if he's telling you to do something different, it's for the best.
It's for the best. And don't get in our mindset of how it's going to happen. I have been wanting to start a community Bible study. I was like, I want to start this community Bible study as soon as COVID is over, and I can go knock on my neighbor's door and then start a community Bible study. But that wasn't my answer. That didn't happen. COVID's still here. Yeah. But I still wanted to start. So Ukraine, the war happened, and I said, I can now reach my neighbors, because you know what? I'm sure my neighbors have the same concern. Yeah. So what I did was put it in my local neighborhood community. I don't even know what it's called. Neighborhood.
Like an app or website.
Yes, a neighborhood something. And I put all my information in there. And I said, I want to start a prayer group on a prayer conference line. And if you're interested, email me your email so I can send you the information. Well, 50, 60 emails came through.
Wow.
In 24 hours. Who knew? I was sitting trying to wait for COVID. Here a war happened, and I said, I want to pray about the war. Wow. I want to pray for our community. I want to pray for our neighborhood. And guess what? Ladies, I've never mentioned, because it's a women's prayer group, because I'm preparing my garage, for that we can have the meetings and stuff. So I think it's going to take time to build the group up and get people to come over and pray. And here it is. 60 people reached out and was like, I'm ready to pray right now. Yeah. So my plan was just watch right on out the window. God's like, I have a better way. If you do it my way, you don't have to worry about growth. Growth is here. Growth came in 24 hours that I thought would take years.
Just from doing what he said to do.
One thing.
It is so beautiful to me to see a community come together like that. Because when I was younger, I didn't really see that. Yeah, I didn't see that at all when I was younger. Last week, I didn't really see that,
Well, see, I grew up in a small community, so I'm from Mississippi originally. So, we all knew all the neighbors. You go all across. Everybody knew everybody, So
that sounds a little fun.
Yes, but now I'm a little bit older than you, so different time,
different seasons, a little bit. Yeah.
And you could go to the neighbor's house and eat and come back and all this kind of stuff, but. Even though my mom was a little funny, she was like, "Don't eat, don't use the bathroom. You gotta use the bathroom. Come home. You gotta eat. Come home." So, but you still could go.
My mom said the same thing. Don't eat that food. Come home. We got food here.
We got food here. Use the bathroom. You come home. Use the bathroom.
Can I kind of switch gears a little bit, because I just want to talk about you are one of the best people to just be in the presence of.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
You have so much peace. Yeah. And how did you get there? How did you get to where you can just, like, you You smile at people a lot and you just make them feel at home.
Again, healed in 30 days.
Healed in 30 days.
It's a decision.
Yeah.
It's a decision.
Come on.
You make up your mind that you're not going to be bitter.
Yeah.
You make up your mind that you're not going to be crazy, and this is who you are. You can fake for only so long. If this is not who you are, after a while, I'm going to say a couple of years, a couple of months, you're going to be who you are. And I decided, I want to be a happy person. I want to be a person of joy. And I think the first step to doing that is forgiveness. The one thing that we think we can be happy if we haven't forgiven people, but you can't.
Wow.
You can't be happy because every time something come up, that thought is going to come back. Well, I don't like Joe. I don't like Billy. I don't like Sue. Do you know what they did to me? So one of the main things I talk about in Healed in 30 Days is first getting you healed. You need to be mentally healed if you want to be physically healed. Yeah. And you got to first heal your mind, and healing your mind start with forgiveness. And it'll get you to a place of peace. And after you practice it so long, you can forgive quickly. Yeah. So whereas before I could be mad for 30 days, I could be mad for 6 years, like I'm still on the grudge. But once you learn that, let it go. Let it go. It's going to cause you cancer. It's going to cause you liver disease. It's going to cause you high blood pressure. Come on. Let it go. And it's stuff. It's just words.
I found that it only affects you though. Like sometimes people don't even know that you're mad at them.
Sometimes people don't even know that you're mad. And if you haven't learned how to communicate, and that's key, is learning how to communicate. If someone has done something and they're not aware, communicate that, hey, this made me unhappy. I think I learned how to communicate. I remember having conversations with people, and I'm like, okay, this is what I hear you saying. Is this what you're saying? Yeah. And they're like, that's not what I wasn't even telling you to go across the street. I was saying, I'm going to cross the street later on today. Well, I thought you said cross the street right now. It's a bear over there. So you're communicating, but I hear something different. There's a bear over there, and you telling me, so that means you don't like me because you tell me to cross the street over with the bear. And it's like, no. I said cross the street later. So communication can be broken, and it can cause other problems. Yeah. I do a lot of consulting. I tell people, you read emails how you feel. Yes. So if you're not happy and you read an email, all of a sudden, so she don't like me. I see the tone in the email. You see the tone in the email? It might be you.
I have a story about email.
So tell your story about the email.
I will not name any names because I really want them to be watching this right now. Okay. But I got an email about it was like a hearing for my job, and I was taught not to have too much interest in the actual hearing. Yes. And I got the email. I sent an email, and then the response that I got made me so angry. And I was reading it in the way that I thought that the person was saying. Yes. And I was like, no, he didn't disrespect me like that. Yes. I know that he's like up here and I'm down here, but still, I'm a man. Yes. And I'm not going to have you say that to me. Yes. And I thank God that I wasn't quick to go straight to him. Yes. I seek wise counsel from many people.
But notice what you said. You said, I thought.
That's exactly, yep.
I thought.
Yep.
That's not what he said. You said, I thought. This was in my mind. And I remember me reading the book Joyce Myers wrote, Battle is in the Mind. Yeah. And it's true. Most of the battles that we have is in our mind. Most of the negative stuff is in our mind. It's not even that people are doing or saying anything, because it irritates me so when I hear people always talk about their haters. My haters. First of all, you're not doing enough to have haters. So why do you even think you have haters? And who are haters? Why do you have so many haters?
Why are they hating on you?
What are you really doing that's causing hate? You're not. It's that we're speaking that. So now when we get these haters in our lives, remember, you spoke that. You said, I now have a lot of haters. I don't speak that I have a lot of haters. So if I have haters, they on their own, okay? So I don't speak that I have a lot of haters, because sometimes we can take the words of other people and the words of the world, and it sounds like it's big. It sounds like it's something important. And then we start repeating those words. Yeah, my haters, they tried to hold me down. What? I don't have no haters trying to hold me down. If you my hater, that's on you, because I'm not interested in you being my hater. Now, do I recognize how you treat me? Absolutely, I recognize how you treat me. Do I recognize what you say to me? Absolutely. But again, you're not my hater.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming that because I'm not speaking those words into my life. Now, what I can do is disconnect you. Now I have the power to disconnect you. Anything that's not anything or anybody that's not bringing power to my life, it's just like a light switch. We just need to turn it off and disconnect it, right? So instead of having haters, I use my gift of disconnect.
I think that's good because somebody can see that as an opportunity. Like, I need to help them. Blah blah blah. God sent me to help them, but sometimes God doesn't send you to send to help everybody.
Yes.
Not everybody's your assignment.
Oh my Lord. Let's talk about I can make you bigger. I can make you explode. I've had those where I can take you to the next level. I can take you first. Then I need to ask some questions because I always consider the source. If you are not on any level and you're telling me you can take me to the next level, I need you to go to the next level first, and then let's have a conversation. But if God will give you discernment. If he send you someone who has not accomplished anything, they say, well, give them an opportunity. That's different.
Yeah.
But it's just someone coming, telling you, give me $1 million because I can take you to the, no. I'm not giving you $1 million because you haven't shown me what you can do. I
see that with a lot of Facebook ads.
Yes.
And when I was trying to figure out like where to start investing money and things like that, I'll see an ad pop up. In the first five seconds, they got me.
Yes.
And then I'll end up watching the whole 30-minute thing. And then I'm like, let me do some more research. Yes, and then you get into it and it's like, oh, well, the next step, I'm just giving you more money and I still haven't gotten anywhere. Absolutely. So am I still pouring into that spot and wasting money and wasting time?
Absolutely.
When it could have been somewhere else.
Exactly. And that's why I do a free consultation first. It's like, have a conversation with me. If you find that my services are not appropriate for you, then we're going to disconnect and it hasn't cost you anything. Yeah. So I really believe if you think you have a great service, give someone something free. Yeah. And if it's a great service, they'll come back to you. They'll find you. You don't have to find them. Exactly. Believe me, they're going to come back and find you.
That's right. They'll find you and they'll tell other people.
Absolutely.
They'll just keep on going.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the book, Healed in 30 Days. You can get the book from Amazon. And again, this book is about being healed. It's about being delivered. It's about being set free. So we're going to be taking that 40 days. And yes, we are going to be praying for Ukraine. We're going to be praying for the people because when they come out, when they go back home, or if they decide not to go back to Ukraine, they're going to need some healing.
Yes.
They're going to need to know, how do I get peace? And they're going to need some people to talk to. And they're going to need some, they're going to have secrets that need to be told. And who can they tell their secrets to? And so we want to take this opportunity to introduce them to Christ, that you can tell your secrets, you can tell your sorrows, you can tell your concerns, you can tell those to Christ. He is available, he is here. But it's going to take us as Christians to help get that word out. Yes. And I'm using the tool that I have. God gave me the answer. I said yes. And who knew that this book would be available to help so many other people to say yes as well. So I'm excited about that. I'm ready for our 40 days and we will be starting effectively on today. So we didn't start March 1st. We want to start March 1st, but we're preparing to later on today. So you're going to be hearing more about what we're doing, how to get out there. We're on Facebook. Be Hicks-Kelly. They can reach me on Facebook. So I'm going to have some live stuff going out there. And we also have a group called Healed in 30 Days on Facebook. Awesome. So they can request to join the book to get more information on Healed in 30 Days. On our fasting days, we will be doing some Bible studies. We'll be doing some videos of different people talking about fasting, talking about praying. We'll be asking people to get on and do prayer, and we'll be praying. So we have so many things together and ready to do for the next 40 days. And we're excited.
Many opportunities for you to stay connected and
absolutely and encouraging because and we really want to lose some weight too. You know, we got some ladies that in the next 40 days, we want to lose some weight. We got some ladies and we want to take this time to lose some weight while we're praying. But it's nothing like having support. It's one thing, I don't want to be an island. I want to have support. I want to have a community around me that we can come together. Because, I have bad days. I have tried losing weight before. And the cookies and the ice cream, as they say, be calling me. So,
they called me yesterday.
So I want to have those friend and family members that's doing this with us that we can call and say, look, I'm struggling today.
Hold you accountable.
Exactly. I'm struggling today. I want to, because a lot of times we eat food for comfort. We eat comfort food because we are having bad days and we are having stressful days. And so it's just easy to eat. So if I had someone that I can talk to, if I had someone that could pray with me when I'm having that day and say, don't eat, don't go have a drink today, and put on more calories. What we want you to do is have someone that you can talk to. So we're going to be available that during those days of struggle and during that time of struggle, that you have someone that you can talk to and that you can pick up the phone and say, okay, and that understand your struggle as well.
Yeah.
Until you've been overweight, and you don't know. I didn't know years ago. I didn't know what it meant to need to lose weight and struggling with trying to lose weight. Because I always would say, why don't they just stop eating? Just eat less. Just stop. Yeah. Well, that's easier said than done. Okay, until I get there. And so here we are. And I want to be that support for someone to say, you can do it. Not only can you do it, we're going to do it together. Yeah. I'm not saying you can do it and then I'm eating a banana and split and ice cream saying, well, you can do it, but I get to eat, whatever.
I'll watch you while you do push-ups.
Exactly. I remember thinking about getting a trainer. And most people go for the skinnier trainers because they was like, but I didn't. I was like, no, I need somebody to look like me. So we can do it together.
I personally,
that's gonna make more sense to me. But if you already skinny, you ain't got nothing to lose.
That's right.
I remember listening to Bishop Jakes, and he said, you got to have some skin in the game. So if someone is my size, you got some skin in the game, so let's do it together. So that's what we are. It's like, hey, we all want to come and pray together and fast together and get on one accord because we got skin in the game, right?
And that's my biggest thing with food, because I really want to get it out of the mindset of an enjoyment and look at it as something, as energy, something that I need. And because I love it so much, and I only love the stuff that tastes good, and the stuff that tastes good is not necessarily the good stuff. But
well, you can prepare so that it tastes good and it's good for you. I have learned, like vegetables, I absolutely love vegetables, but if they're not prepared properly, I don't want to eat it. But if you can get someone to prepare properly, it's good for me and it tastes good. But that doesn't mean it has to be loaded with old school ham hocks and all that wonderful
cheese on the broccoli isn't good every time.
It doesn't have to be that. And then I can eat smaller portions. I've learned that I can eat smaller portions. And just because someone is saying eat 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day doesn't mean you have to.
Exactly.
You got to know your body. Maybe I can't eat 3 times a day. Maybe I need to eat 1 time a day. Yeah. Or for me, I know I need to do this fast so that I can get back in the regimen of fasting consistently. So being able to fast 1 day is a huge help for me to be able to fast every other day, because I know what I need for clarity. And more importantly, I know where I want to go. And so this season in my life, I need to clearly hear from God. I don't need to be second guessing, trying to figure it out. I need to clearly hear and clearly know where I'm going and where I'm headed to and how I'm going to get there. And I think that's the most important piece is, how am I going to get there? And I don't need to know about next week. All I need is today. I just need to know this morning when I get up, where do you want me to go? What should I be doing? I'm not asking about tomorrow. I'm not asking about next week. I really have learned to live in just today. Yeah. I don't need anything else but today.
With the book Healed in 30 Days, I will put the information for YouTube and the podcast in the description so that people can look you up, and also to start the to help out with the praying for Ukraine. But I also want to encourage people it's important to invest money, but also invest time. After you don't just buy the book, use it.
Yes.
And when I bought one, I bought one for someone else too.
Yes.
I wanted to pass it on because I knew that it was going to be something that somebody else needed to hear.
Yeah, it's been such a blessing. I've worked with several pastors, and a majority of them bought like 50 at a time.
Amen.
So we did a prayer group for a 30-day prayer with them, and for about 50, 60 of their members, and they asked them to all get the book, and we did it with them. So it's been a blessing. It really has. Saying yes has been life changing. So, and this is my real life. This is what I want to do. Again, I'm a consultant, and as you said, sometimes we don't speak the things that we know God has ordained us to do because it's a scary place. It took me years to tell people I'm a life coach, I'm a consultant, because I wasn't one that liked to talk. So to now to say, oh, I'm a life coach, I'm a consultant, I'm a trainer, that means I'm going to have to open my mouth. I'm going to have to talk. But because I had did 9 to 5 so long, it was uncomfortable, even though I knew that I was a life coach. I knew I was a motivational speaking, but everybody, my surrounding circle didn't see me as that.
Yeah.
So it was harder to say that to my surrounding circle than it was to say it to a stranger because you didn't know me. And sometimes that's what happened. It's easier to say it to a stranger than it is to say it to our circle because our circle think they know us.
And those are the ones that you care about their
you care about their opinion.
Yeah.
And so and true enough, because I knew what was going to happen. And when I said, well, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a life coach, I'm a business coach, it was like, you a motivation. You girl, you don't even talk. What do you mean you're a motivational speaker? So, but to see me now, they were like, you couldn't have told me.
Wow.
You could not have told me that's what you would do for a living.
Wow.
You could not have told me someone would pay you to come and do consulting and pay you to come and do training because you're standing in front of a classroom and talk, because that wasn't my that was not my comfort zone and not my world. But God showed me this is who I called you to be. And so.
And there were so many people waiting on the other side of your yes. So many people would not have been healed if you did not finish that book.
Yes. When I think about all the lives that I've touched by being in the right place at the right time that God ordained is so different than me sitting at a job 9 to 5, typing on a computer, looking at just doing financial stuff, which I love to do that too, but that wasn't the place that God had ordained me to be in this season in my life. Now, I think we all have seasons. I think that was required of me to do it at that time. But I think in this season in my life, this is where I'm supposed to be, for a few seasons now. But even now, I see myself going to a different place. So I'm walking in those seasons of where I need to be and where I want to be. So
it's so beautiful that purpose can change.
Purpose can change, yes. Just because you were doing something at 20 doesn't mean that's what you're going to do in 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. So I'm excited now. I'm excited, and no is not an option. When I'm talking to God, whatever He says, it's just yes. It's just yes.
No is not an option.
No is not an option at all, ever.
Amen. Was there anything else that you want to say to the people of the Pathway to Purpose podcast?
Pathways to Purpose. I love it, and I'm glad I'm taking this pathway to my purpose. And and it's true, there is a pathway to purpose. It's a journey, and if you follow your path, you will get to purpose. I promise. So I love that. Pathway to Purpose.
Thank you.
I can't steal it, but I love that.
It's already taken.
This is my pathway. And I would not take anything from my pathway, from my journey. The good, the bad, and the ugly has worked for me. It has gotten me to this place. And I would have loved to change some things, but at the same time, when you ask me what would I have changed, I can't tell you what I would have changed. While I was in it, I would have said, I don't want to go through this. I don't want to deal with this. But I'm glad I did, because it made me who I am today.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Well, Bernadette, thank you so much for coming on today.
You're welcome.
Filled us up with a bunch of wisdom and just amazing things that we can actually take with us.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. And I hope to be back soon. So
yes.
We're going to be doing this again.
Very soon. We can do it again.
Absolutely.
Amen. Thank you for listening to the Pathway to Purpose podcast. Being able to create a platform for someone to tell their story and also a place for someone to hear it is extremely important to me. I hope you heard something that helps you grow and something that you can pass on to somebody else. Stay tuned for the next episode and check out the Pathway to Purpose Instagram and Facebook to see inspirational quotes to help you on your journey. I also want to give a big shout out to my whole team at Scott Young Media Group for making this podcast possible. Be blessed, everyone.